How effective the vaccines are is going to be really important, how effective the boosters are. We know that Omicron appears to be very transmissible, but we don't yet know that it's more transmissible than Delta, and we don't really know what's going to happen when Omicron, as it already is beginning to do, gets into populations where there's a high incidence of Delta, such as the UK, where we've been running with very high rates since the summer, since the lockdowns ended.
Can I ask you about the role of these travel restrictions then, because some lawmakers say it does slow down the transmission, it does buy them time, and we know that we're getting to a situation in some countries where there are already high cases. Is the slowing down of the transmission helpful at this point just to get us through the winter months?
Well, it might buy us a bit more time, but almost certainly, as we know, it's been found in over 30 countries so far and rising. And clearly, I think some countries may not be looking for it. So it may be much more widespread already, and we know it's in the UK, for instance. So how big an impact travel restrictions will make, I'm not really sure. At best, it can slow down the spread of it, but it may not make a huge difference in the longer term.
Dr. Freedman, firstly, thank you very much indeed for everything your profession is doing. I mean, where would we be without people who actually know what they're talking about rather than just pundits? So thank you. My second point is, my understanding is if you don't have mass vaccinations in large parts of the world, then there's always going to be more mutations, there's always going to be more variants, and it's going to be a risk. Are we seeing a situation, in your opinion, at this moment, where the new mutations and variations are becoming less severe, or actually are we tempting fate and eventually going to get a mutation or a variation that actually is going to be immune to the current suite of products we have to fight this?
So it's obviously difficult to be certain. Omicron really came out of the blue. We weren't expecting a variant with so many different mutations with the potential to overcome immunity either from previous infection or vaccines. And it's certainly possible that more can arise. I absolutely agree that it's essential that vaccines are rolled out right across the world. Omicron may not be very mild at all, so time will tell whether this virus is more benign in that respect.
So how do we get look, my family, or your family, everyone's family, we've gone on for this the best part of 2 years now. When will COVID not be a huge problem for everybody, and it'll be something that sits in the background, that occasionally we see a spike of interest in the news flow as well? But when will this not be? Would it take 2 years, 5 years from here, or will we always have this level of concern about COVID the way things are going?
No, I think most scientists will think that it will be around for the foreseeable future for many years, but it will become less of a problem. So perhaps after this winter, Northern Hemisphere winter obviously is over, it may be less of a problem in Europe and the US, for instance. We're likely to see it more as a seasonal viruses like other coronaviruses like flu with spikes in the winter, but perhaps with milder disease. Levels of immunity will increase globally over time, although it's slower than we'd hoped. And there is, as well as the antibody levels, which do drop off after some months after booster doses, the T-cell immunity does seem to be important, and that may well be longer lasting and broader in terms of protection against new variants that might arise in the future. So I think there is hope that over the next few months and beyond, it may become less of a problem.